Principal Stargazer for the Waterloo Space Society, and today my talk is about due diligence and amateur astronomy. So let's first define due diligence. We need this concept because there are risks in our daily activities, and we need to learn from our experience so that we can predict, plan for, and respond to those risks. And the standard is standard of care expected from a reasonable person. That is, if you've taken PDNs or anything similar to that, that's very familiar. So a reasonable person is very important, not the average person. It's been described as an excellent but odious character, odious being unpleasant or nitpicky. Here's a longer description from Herbert. He's an ideal, a standard, the embodiment of all those qualities which we demand of the good citizen. He looks where he's going, is careful to examine the area before he jumps, is not lost in thought when approaching doors or the edges of the dock, never boards or gets off a moving vehicle, does nothing except in moderation, and spanks his child only while weighing the pros and cons. Bloomfield said, he has not the courage of Hercules, the wisdom of Ulysses, or the strength of Hercules, nor has he the prophetic vision of a clairvoyant. He will not anticipate folly in all its forms, but he will consider the teachings of experience that show such negligence, and so will guard against the common negligence of others. He is a reasonable man, but not a perfect citizen. So, why use this standard? Planning and executing a mission in such a way to mitigate all reasonably foreseeable risks. And the consequence of using this standard are that things run more smoothly and you're prepared for unexpected situations that arise. The framework that I'm going to use will break down the astronomy plan and mission plan, and some things to consider when you're executing the plan, and afterwards, after you go out for observing, what steps are necessary. So the astronomy plan should prepare a target list. This will include a number of targets that depend on your type of event. You should consider the phases of the moon, because the moon drastically affects the background contrast of the sky. You should look at the planets, time, weather, location, and audience, and a whole host of other factors go into your preparation of this list. You should make sure your equipment is in good order, including your batteries, and keep in mind astrophotography will require much more time and preparation. The mission plan. Communication is very important with your guests. So before you go, you'll be coordinating via email usually, and you want to ensure prompt email updates and responses. You should always have a cell phone if you're going out for an advanced session, and consider food, coffee, and water needs of your observers. You have a responsibility to ensure people dress appropriately, and that includes taking the temperature into account and the fact that you're standing still for a long time, exposed to possibly windy environment. You should arrange transportation as early as possible, and you'll need to verify that the people who said they were going to come are actually going to come. And rentals through feds will take at least a week to arrange ahead of time. And for the drivers, I recommend experienced Class 3 drivers. So the execution phase. For a basic session, you should think about keeping a tight schedule so that people, when they arrive at the band shell, are not wandering around or waiting for you. You should start punctually, and you should take care of the site because we have the use of that site as a courtesy from Waterloo Park Services. So I call that the as-it-were doctrine, and that includes turning the spotlights back to their original on or off state when you leave, making sure the furniture is put back, and locking the bench afterwards. The purpose should be kept in mind is to introduce people to amateur astronomy and space in general, so it's an introduction to the event. The emergency responses would usually be campus police or local EMS. And this is contrasted with advanced sessions. The timing for advanced sessions is usually less tight. Notice I didn't say loose schedule, it's just less tight. And that's usually because we have some time beforehand to load people and equipment. We usually go out for Tim Hortons or something to keep warm, slightly less formal. Here I call it the site care visible trace doctrine, and that usually pertains to food wrappers and cleaning up your home garbage. The purpose is slightly different. It's the further development and advancement of your skills and knowledge, and sharing that skill and knowledge with others. So most of those people will have either their own astronomy experience or attended previous bandshell sessions or attended the theory sessions. So they can get a little deeper into the equipment and the finding things in the sky. And the emergency response may be delayed because of your remote location. So you should always know your location, and there should be 1 or 2 people who know basic first aid in your group. For aftercare, there's a red logbook now in the space office where you can record basic stats of each outing, and those would probably be number of people, location, date, time. A general log to show that the event occurred, so we have an idea to look back at the history. You should send a debrief to the exec list, covering basically the same points. We can talk about what objects you observed and any irregularities in them, and you can make it a sort of scientific study as well, like include descriptions of the quality of your observations and how your equipment performed. You should also check over your equipment after you take it back and clean eyepieces as needed. So for our particular new telescope, the primary does not require cleaning for several years, and that's good for us, I guess. And use covers for all objects when you're not observing to minimize the dust, because it's always easier to prevent contamination than to fix it afterwards. That goes partly into the prepare safe storage. Okay, so a brief